There we go. Hello. So, Tour de Fleece. I've already lost count. Already. 3? I think 3. Yesterday, finished this. You saw that. So I put that onto the spindle and I haven't taken it off yet. I wonder if that's something we should do together. And spun a bit of this. So, starting with this. This is a yellow merino silk blend. It's beautiful. See those little white bits? Little white bits like that? That's silk. I can't even remember. Tussin silk? No clue. No clue. Something beginning with a T. Well, this is... You can actually see it in this light now because it's the next day and it's much earlier today. See, it's got this beautiful... I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful black. Oh, yes, you can see it. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Yes, even though I fumbled the spinning a lot yesterday because I was tired, you can really see just how beautiful this is. And honestly, if you just feel how soft this is, it's saying you need merino to have soft wool. This is so soft. This is so soft. It's soft and crispy. Crispy is not the word you want, is it really? You want soft and silky. Nah, I want soft and crispy. That's what I want. I wouldn't even say that has much tooth to it at all, though. No, I don't think that has much tooth to it at all. I am, however, horribly unprepared. I simply sat down and started recording, and I am horribly unprepared, and that means I need to go grab my niddy noddy. Because that is an important tool that I need to go get. I have returned, and I have a niddy noddy. Ashford niddy noddy. So this is 1.4, 1.5 meters, I think. I keep having to Google it because I honestly can't remember. Relatively standard, relatively boring. I only got Ashford because it's what the people I buy my fibre from, they pretty much only sell Ashford tools. So I didn't know where to buy my tools from because being a person who's only been spinning for a year, I only know like 1 or 2 places where I can buy fibre from that's not Etsy. So, and I don't really have like an Etsy seller that sells tools as well. There are a bunch of Etsy sellers that sell fibre, but, and you know, I'm kind of like trying to be careful about vetting people before I buy from them because I've been scammed twice this year. Twice. Once on Vinted and once on Etsy. So I'm not really feeling like buying from a marketplace anytime soon right now, which is no disparagement towards the many excellent sellers that are on these platforms. It's just a disparagement against the rampant scammers who take advantage of people. And they are not the majority. Nowhere near. Ooh, there's another tool I need to grab. Oh, here too. Now, you might be wondering what this cursed object is that is in front of you. But it's got rough edges and it's... Is that made of decking? Yes, it is made of scrap decking. It's got a loop here and a hook here. Now, what do you think this is for, My stepdad built it for me as a proof of concept. He says he will kindly at some point, because obviously he's very busy, at some point he will very kindly make me a proper wooden version with like finished edges and things. He's really good at woodworking. He just made this in like 30 minutes in his garage with scrap wood, you know? But what it does is I can use it to hold my spindles. It's extremely useful for taking yarn on and off the spindle. Well, off the spindle, mostly. I don't use it for plying, but it's really useful for getting it off a spindle and onto a bobbin. So useful for that. And it's good for kind of like holding everything in place while I work. I don't know if it's basically a lazy cake. I don't know if my stepdad basically reverse engineered a lazy cake from first principles. But I can't fit my spindles onto my lazy cake, so I'm not so sure about that. So I don't know is the honest truth. What I do know is I need to stop talking. Because I need to wind this onto my niddy noddy, and I need to count. I can't talk and count at the same time. Some people can, I cannot. I cannot. So we need to be a bit careful here. Hang on. I need to secure it properly to the start of it, otherwise we're not going to have a fun time. Okay, so hold that there. Doesn't really matter which way around you do it. There you go. And then hold that there with my hand. That doesn't look quite right now, does it? That's because it needs to cross. Crosses over. And then down. No, because it needs to cross. I don't want to edit these. I really don't, because I'm uploading them too frequently to do any editing on them. But at the same time, I don't know what I'm doing. And I can't use my phone to Google while my phone is recording, because as soon as I tab out, it'll stop recording and corrupt all the footage. So that's fun. I don't know what I'm doing. Start at the top. I think you go underneath, actually, and then up. No, because you can't. Oh, gosh. No. And down. Oh, we got it! Oh my goodness. Okay, now I need to stop talking. That's one. No. Ah, no. Two. Three. Four. 5. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 'This works a lot better with my drop spindle. Let's see if it'll work better this way. It has to go over, not under. Over. Oh, I don't know. It's also really hot today. Eight. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, woo, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, come on, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, no, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, ooh, 53, ooh, 54, 55, 6, oh, reach the end. I need to remove the leader. Come on. Who's the leader? So that's about 56.5, which I'm going to very quickly write down. Yeah, it's upside down, and now it's mirrored. Really? I never realised. I don't know if it's mirrored in the end. That's just melted my brain. I never noticed it was mirrored. Really? Okay, my brain's officially melted. It's fine. Supposedly clever woman with a degree. You would never believe it. Never. But look how pretty. Oh my goodness. This is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. I should quickly show you how we're admiring the beauty. The casualties. A single broke multiple times when I was plying. And these are the sort of the tangled bits that I just, because I just couldn't deal with them. Like the little bits that just came off and all the rest of it. So this is the casualties. And these won't get thrown in the bin. I have a little box where I put all this sort of casualties or wall gubbins or tails I've snipped and that sort of thing, and they all go in a little box. My plan is one day I will card them, probably on some sort of drum carder or something, which I don't currently own a drum carder, but I will. Put them on a drum carder with some fibre and make a kind of like an art bat thing. I actually saw mine Walden had done hers with Swaplist, and when I always saw these art bats, I kind of thought they didn't look very good, but with a black base, beautiful. So I don't necessarily need to use Swaplist. I'd probably use something that's probably, I don't know, something British. Sure. I want to try some Welsh breeds too. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. But yes, this is now going in the naughty corner because that was more effort than it should have been. I'm actually relieved that that's done. I was putting it off and it really wasn't that bad. You really look at me like, oh, there's like a million and one things you're doing wrong and you can make this way easier on yourself. I'm like, yeah, I know. But here is a black Corriedale. I'm trying to make a black and green barber pole. Black and a green barber pole. Because I think that'd look cool. And I'm trying to make a lot of it. Because I already have a lot of it. But I want to make some more. I want to make some more of that yarn. And I have the fibre to do it. Now, yesterday I was struggling to spin. And I was doing a terrible job. And my twist kept going into the fibre and all sorts of things were going on. So I'm hoping today we can have some nice relaxing spinning. And that won't happen. It might still happen. Because I'm recording and I'm like half distracted. Oh, and I already let the spin go into the fibre last time I was here, apparently. Do you insist on just making your life hard for yourself past me? Because future me, present me, is not particularly very happy with this situation. There we go. That's better. We've fixed it. We've sorted it. Everything is fine. You can't see my spindle. Now you can. Now there's a bit more spin on it, I think. There wasn't quite enough spin on that one. I had the day off today, which is why I have way more energy. I have the day off today. And not only do I have the day off today, but I also had the dentist today, which is just the worst. But it didn't go as badly as I expected. It did not go as badly as I expected. I was really stressing out about it, to be honest. 100%. I was so worried about it. Oh my goodness. It's fine. It was fine. It was genuinely fine. I'm not saying that everything is absolutely perfect and I don't need any treatment done, because that's not true. I knew that wasn't true. But it's fine. Managed to catch things before they got any worse, and it's not like everything is just on fire. There are things that can be done to resolve things, and the resolutions aren't that extreme, and it's quite minor, and it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I tried to squash a fly. The fly flew off. It's summer and I have the windows open, which means there are flies in the house, which is super annoying. But yeah, the dentist was kind of like, okay. I've been to so many dentists before, and a lot of them are so judgmental. So judgmental. They're not like, oh, you're using a manual toothbrush and I can tell you should use an electric instead. Not like that, which is kind of like genuinely helpful. There's like helpful things that aren't necessarily that intuitive. You're bombarded with advertisement. It's really easy to just assume that those adverts are just all nonsense, when in reality having electric toothbrush is a good idea. You know, stuff like that. Because, you know, like dental education in this country is genuinely quite poor. But, I mean in the sense of they were like making just like really rude comments. Like your teeth are awful and all your teeth are going to fall out because as you clearly just can't be bothered. You clearly don't care. And you're like, that level. And I'm like, dude, that's kind of inappropriate. And the thing is that that's not an NHS dentist. I'm paying private. So I'm paying money to these people. And they're talking to me like that. I'm not going to go back, am I? I'm going to use that money on other things. Other things that don't make me feel like a terrible human being. And I feel like there's a large portion of dentistry that needs to reckon itself with the idea that they're actually making people's dental health worse because they're creating this anxiety that just doesn't need to be there. Like this guy, it was like, oh, you have all these issues and all these problems, and I was just like, oh, and I just completely just head in the sand and just because I just couldn't deal with it. I just couldn't deal with it. And then the dentist today was like, oh, all these things aren't that bad. They're not that bad. We need to do like one intervention that's like a really, really minor thing. It's a minor procedure. And here's some things you can do to kind of help alleviate your exact situation. And I also suggested something like, hey, is this an issue? And they were like, oh, well, no, but we can sort that out for you. And I'm like, yeah, can you please? That'd be great. So that's like the kind of like relationship you want to build with it between the patient and the dentist, because then things get sorted early and the patient doesn't feel like terrified of coming in next time for the fear that the world might explode. Like I think dental anxiety is like a real thing that I always used to dismiss it and say that, oh well, why would you be afraid of the dentist? You know, you're not a kid. You know? And then I saw some like really rude and horrible dentists, and I had a botched procedure, so that's fun. So that was an NHS dentist, by the way. So that really kind of led itself to this horrendous dental anxiety. Awful. And I was always that person being weirdly judgmental about people with dental anxiety. And I'm like, dude, obviously I'm older now, right? I was a kid when I thought that other people were being a bit melodramatic about it. I was a child. I'm no longer a child. Now I know. Now I know. So, I'm going to go to have this procedure done, and it'll be straightforward, and everything will be fine, and it'll be good. And genuinely, they were really good. I mean, say what you want about having to pay for private in the UK when we have the NHS, but the state of NHS dentistry is shocking. It really is quite shocking. Let's put it this way, if you want an NHS dentist in my region, you can't. It doesn't exist. Like, it's not even like some of them are bad or some of them just don't have the availability, or they literally don't exist. Everywhere near me is private. Everywhere. And of course, not all private dentists are equal. Some are really bad. Like the previous one I went to, where honestly, they're like cowboys. The way they treat people, just awful. And the thing is, some dentists think that will like lead to change and that will make the person reconsider their terrible habits. But no, because if the issue is an educational issue, not a habitual issue, you're not going to magically fix that by judging them. Like that's like kind of like this like classist idea, because it's like invariably the people who don't have this education usually are kind of like working class. And you know, we're not middle class people who all were able to afford braces as kids, so we all have like perfectly straight teeth. Have to resort to Invisalign when we get older. And you know, there's people online who'll say, "Oh, you should feel okay with having, you know, your natural teeth. There's nothing wrong, you know, with having your natural teeth. Natural teeth are fine, and veneers aren't the norm, and we shouldn't use that as the benchmark to define beauty standards and all the rest of it." I'm like, yeah, but there's also a level of how does this make you feel about yourself? How do you feel in the moment? Do you feel like this thing is making you anxious and stressing you out? Or do you feel like this is a fixable problem and you're willing to pay to fix it? Like, I don't judge anyone for falling into either one of those two camps. I don't, because I've kind of oscillated between both pretty much throughout my entire life at this point. Like, genuinely awful. Awful, awful. I can't even imagine how difficult it is for people, particularly in this area, because there's like plenty of people in this area who, this area is kind of like a mix. You have kind of a mix, I'd say, between like more like middle class people and more working class. You have some areas around here which are really, really poor, like some of the poorest in the UK. And you have other areas near here which are much more affluent, and they won't be that far from each other. But my thinking is, like, how bad is it that people who need the dentistry, like the working class, generally can't afford it? Because, no word of a lie, right? I went to what I would consider quite a good dentist today, and I say that was good, and there's a plan to move forward, and things are going well, and everything is kind of okay. But I can do that because I can afford it. If I couldn't afford it, what would I do? I couldn't do anything. Which was the case for most of my life, by the way. It's only like recently I've been able to afford like a proper private dentist. So what happens to all the people who can't afford it? It's still kind of wild to me that like certain services, it reminds me of how during COVID, right? Because I wear glasses, I wear reading glasses. So I can see you. This is a blurry blob. So long-sighted. I can see a distance I cannot see here properly. It's not like that bad. But if I was like reading text or working or using a computer screen that's like here, then I would need them. Particularly if I was like doing things like programming for a long period of time, then I need them. But now what's happened? We're gonna ignore the fiber. I'll just keep talking. The problem is, what happens to all those people that can't afford it? And during COVID, what we saw, right, is we saw kind of like an extension of this attitude of like not caring about people who can't afford it or don't have access to it or whatever. During COVID, my glasses broke and I only had the one pair. And I kind of needed them for work, mostly. So I was trying to code and I couldn't see what I was doing. And I was getting migraines and headaches and all the rest of it. So it was genuinely affecting my health. And I couldn't get a replacement pair of glasses. And yet at the same time, bikes are essential. They're essential. And all this weird argument of being like, gyms are essential. And this strange argument for people who clearly have never had to worry about this sort of thing once in their life, defining for the working class what is and isn't essential. And opticians, not essential. Not essential. Really? There was like, in fairness, if we want to get technical about it, okay? If we want to get technical about it, there was some exceptions for emergencies, but in reality, the rules were so vague that most opticians just shut. So you couldn't even go there for an emergency. So good luck on that one, because it was so poorly thought out. And it's kind of the same situation for dentists, because they couldn't practice safely, which I kind of get and understand. But at the same time, there were so many procedures that didn't happen that should have happened. And the harm from that ripples through right through to today. 6 years later, you want to say, oh, just move on already. I'm like, can I though? Can I move on? Because a lot of the dentistry issues I'm having right now are because of COVID and not being able to address things. I needed a root canal because I basically had a hole in my tooth for like a year. So that's fun. And all sort of the knock-on issues from that. So maybe I'm just completely off base in all of these things. But I just think that assuming that everyone has access to these services all of the time, and then kind of like judging them for it, or not giving them the support they need to actually be able to action things, and then judging them for like issues with their health. Like, teeth are strange to me, right? Because they're one of the few areas in healthcare in general where it's seen as okay to judge the patient. Really? I mean, we see something similar with people's weight and stuff like that too. Like, I think in healthcare, things need to be really judgmental. You need to be really careful. You don't just like scare the patient away and stop them from coming in again. And don't create this lifelong anxiety which will make them avoid you and then means that things will just get worse. And I have to be, on that same breath, I have to be honest with myself too. And I have to deal with my own dental anxiety and learn how to deal with it. Because, you know, today wasn't that bad. And, you know, getting like really panicked and really kind of worked up over it. Oh, that's like, that's just not good. That's not healthy. It's not. So I need to deal with that. I don't know how. Therapy. I'm not doing therapy. Therapy are more expensive than dentists around here. Do you know how expensive a therapist is? My God. Horrendous. Horrendous. Yeah, even I can't afford a therapist. My God. But no, in all seriousness, I do need to deal with it. And I think that's an area for self-reflection. And breaking of the singles. Always breaking of the singles. It's an area for self-reflection. And I think more broadly, as a society, we need to be non-judgmental to those people who have medical problems, who we don't necessarily view as medical problems in quite the same way. We don't quite put them into the same bucket. Dental issues, we don't put in the same bucket as health issues, even though it is definitely a health issue. We don't. And maybe we should. And maybe we should apply a completely non-judgmental, judgmental-free attitude towards dentistry as a whole. Yes, we should. And this is not what I planned to talk about today, but you know what? It's on the brain, and I've been so worked up about it all week, I'm going to talk about it. Because I think we should talk about it. I should definitely, like, have this in frame more, because, my God, look how pretty! You deserve to see the spinning. Isn't that the whole point? To see the spinning? You can just put this on mute and just watch me spin if you want. It's fine. I don't care. I'm just going to join this fibre now, so it's in a nice place when I pick it up next time. I'm not doing a very good job enjoying it. I'm not entirely sure why. I think it's because I'm recording. Usually when I'm recording, I find that my spinning is not quite as good. I'm going to use that bit because that bit I'm struggling to join it right now. Let's use this bit. Let's use a fresh bit. It'd be easier to join. My shoulder is a distaff. There we go. I think we're joined. No. We have not joined. What's happening? I do wonder. Well, that's not any good either. I do wonder if I put too much twist into it because I wasn't paying attention. And now it's kind of like, ooh, well, you don't get to spin now because now I'm just going to constantly break because I'm over twisted. You have mistreated me. I'm like, I'm sorry. But we can fix this, maybe. Maybe I can fix this. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. Okay. That feels strong. Yeah! I joined it. We're good. I'm just going to do a little bit more. I'll stop rambling and it'll probably be the end of the video then. Yes. But first, I must just do a little bit more just to make absolutely sure. There we go. That feels good. Look at that. Let's see. There we go. That's my fingernail. Little fingernail for scale. I think this is a little bit thicker than I normally spin. I think overall the grist would probably still be a fingering weight once I'm done plying. I think so. And that's as much as we've done today. Well, that and put the other not even fibre, yarn. The other yarn onto the niddy noddy. But I think we're done now. Goodbye. And that is it for the end of the video. So now it's the Webring. The Webring simply is a link to other channels that you should check out. Many of them tiny. Not all of them, but many of them very small. So, this week? No, because I uploaded yesterday. Not this week at all. Today, tonight, at 11 PM, my goodness. Back to Blighty. Fantastic, fantastic Tour de Fleece videos. And look at this, an actual video on preparation, on actual proper preparation, unlike the video that I did, which was pure chaos. My video is pure chaos, and I have far too much fibre stash, and it's just an existential crisis. That is what that video was. But this is a proper one. This is a proper Tour de Fleece prep video that you should absolutely watch. And look at this. Tour de Fleece days 1 and 2. 169 views. That is not enough. That is disgraceful. Go, watch it. Her videos are fantastic. Go. And now I shall leave you. Goodbye.